In a secluded corner of the abandoned space docks on Xylo Station, young Rell Brandt wiped the grease off her hands, cursing her luck for the 100th time. It was supposed to be a straightforward job, an easy engine recalibration on a Class E hauler. But the hauler's ignition coils were fried, the fuel injectors barely hanging on, and Rell found herself hip-deep in loose bolts and rusty panels. She shook her head, wiping a smear of oil across her cheek. Just another day in the Outer Rim, where she spent her life patching up derelict junkers and obsolete relics from centuries past. As Rell tugged at a particularly stubborn bolt, something caught her eye. A thin gap in the wall panel next to her workstation, which led to a small, almost hidden compartment. She tilted her head, intrigued. She'd worked in this part of Xylo Station for years, patching up old ships, but this hidden compartment was new to her. She grabbed her plasma cutter and carefully widened the gap. After a few minutes of work, the compartment's door popped open with a low hiss. Inside, there was a broken bar towel. Rell blinked. She had been hoping for an old stash of credits or maybe some abandoned tech she could sell. But no, it was a towel, dull, frayed, and covered in layers of grime so thick she could barely see the original color. The air that wafted out from the compartment had a staleness to it, a smell that reminded her of dust mixed with something acrid and alien. It was like the smell of history itself, thousands of years locked away and suddenly set loose. Curious, Rell reached out and carefully touched the towel. It felt odd against her skin, almost alive. The fibers pulsed faintly under her fingers, a sensation both unsettling and hypnotic. It was no ordinary towel, that much was clear. She leaned in closer and noticed strange markings along the edges, symbols she didn't recognize, and she'd seen hundreds of alien languages in her years on the station. She grabbed a flashlight and shone it on the fabric, revealing a faint shimmer across the fibers, as though they were embedded with microscopic crystals. The thought dawned on her, this towel was ancient. She could feel it, an artifact from an age so distant that it boggled her mind. The grime, the odor, the odd symbols, so it was all part of something far beyond her comprehension. She had to know more. Grabbing a datapad, she started searching through the station's archives, cross-referencing symbols and scanning old records. What she discovered shook her to her core. The symbols matched an extinct alien race known as the Xyathari, a species that had thrived over 50,000 years ago. Known for their deep spiritual practices and complex understanding of organic technology, the Xyathari were rumored to have woven memories, even consciousness, into everyday objects. Rell shivered. What if this towel held the consciousness of a Xyathari? Could it be alive? Against her better judgment, Rell brought the towel back to her small quarters on the station. She felt an unexplainable need to be near it, almost as if it were calling to her. The next few days passed in a blur. She felt oddly connected to the towel, spending hours just sitting in front of it, lost in thoughts she couldn't quite articulate. She would find herself waking up in the middle of the night, certain she had heard voices or whispers just beyond the edge of her hearing. And the smell ... it grew stronger, more pungent, as though something was waking up from a very long slumber. One night, as she sat staring at the towel, she heard a guitar voice, faint but unmistakable, inside her mind. It was deep, resonant, layered with a strange echo. It spoke in a language she didn't understand, yet somehow, the meaning unfolded in her thoughts. It was introducing itself. "I am Kel'Reth, Keeper of Time," the voice whispered, each word reverberating through her consciousness. You have awakened me from the slumber of ages. Rell's heart pounded as she tried to process what was happening. Are you the towel? She stammered aloud, feeling slightly ridiculous. The voice responded with a sound that might have been laughter, or something akin to it. Not the towel, young one. I am within it, a shard of what once was, bound to this simple cloth. The Xyathari called it the vessel of memory. Rell's mind raced, grappling with the enormity of what she was hearing. This wasn't just an artifact, it was a relic containing the essence of a being from a civilization that predated humanity itself. Her questions tumbled out in a flutter. Who were the Xyathari? Why was Kel'Reth bound to this towel? And why, after all these millennia, had it chosen her? Kel'Reth's answers came slowly, piecing together a tragic tale of a lost civilization. The Xyathari had been explorers of consciousness, voyagers of the mind, who believed that knowledge and experience could transcend physical death. Kel'Reth had been one of their spiritual leaders, a guardian of their deepest wisdom. When the Xyathari faced extinction from an unknown cosmic force, Kel'Reth and a few others wove their minds into objects, hoping that one day, their essence would be discovered, and their stories would live on. Then why a towel? Rell asked, unable to suppress the question. Again, that strange laughter. To you, it seems a mere cloth. But to us, it was sacred, a symbol of life, for it tended to our needs, carried our essence. In this humble vessel, I am preserved. Over the following weeks, Rell and Kel'Reth formed a strange bond. The towel became her teacher, revealing fragments of Xyathari knowledge, stories of their worlds, and visions of the cosmos through their eyes. Kel'Reth showed her how to see energy patterns, how to sense the consciousness in all things. It was as though she were absorbing the history of a people long gone, experiencing their triumphs, their tragedies, their dreams. Yet, as Kel'Reth grew stronger, the connection began to take a toll on Rell. She was plagued by feverish visions, dreams of alien landscapes and long-dead stars. She felt herself slipping, her mind merging with the vast ocean of memories held within the towel. It became harder to distinguish where her thoughts ended and Kel'Reth's began. She started to fear that, if she continued, she might lose herself entirely. One day, weakened and on the edge of consciousness, Rell finally asked Kel'Reth the question that had been haunting her, why me? Out of everyone who could have found you, why did you reach out to me? There was a long silence, and then the voice replied, softer than before. Because you are like us, Rell. A wanderer, a seeker of truth. In you, I saw the same spark that once guided my people. But now, you must decide. To continue is to leave your own life behind and join me fully. To stop is to remain yourself. And let my essence fade once more into silence. Rell knew what he was asking. She took a deep breath, gazing down at the worn, filthy towel that had become her strange companion. The weight of 1,000 lifetimes, a forgotten civilization, a cosmic mystery, all of it lay before her, waiting. With a trembling hand, she reached out, fingers grazing the fabric one last time.